Hello guys, what is up? Media here, and today I'm back from the dead. I haven't talked to you guys since before the Nintendo Switch launched, which is kind of weird. That was like back in before March, I believe. But the draft is coming up this Thursday, and I'm not gonna waste your time with a long intro. We're gonna hop right into it. I've prepared a Bengals 7-round mock draft complete with compensation picks and also backups for each of them, because some of these are stretches. So with the first pick in this draft, I'd like to see the Bengals at number 9 overall go Corey Davis, the wide receiver out of Western Michigan. Now, if you look at this guy, to me, he looks like the most complete receiver and most NFL ready-to-go receiver in this draft. I wouldn't say he's the most physically talented, but he's the complete package right now, and I feel like he could step in right away. I don't even know if he could step in right away, because LaFell and Boyd and Core have ended up so good, but he's just there for. We need depth everywhere. I think he could even be the number 2 guy by this year. The argument here would be, why not Mike Williams or John Ross? And I think Mike Williams, I think he'd be a great pick to go to. I think he'd be a great pick going to the Tennessee Titans at 5. But if he's there, he is so similar to AJ Green. I don't know if we want a wide receiver with the exact same mold as Green. And they're so similar. They're not neither of them are the fastest, even though I'd say Green is much faster than Mike Williams. And they both make outstanding catches. They're great, tall, long possession receivers. And why not John Ross? Ross is faster than Davis, but Ross's hands are a lot worse, which with Andy Dalton, I love Andy Dalton, but you want your receivers to have good hands with him, especially with this really tough offensive line this year. And also he has had an extended injury history, even more than Corey Davis. He's had like a small one, but not huge. My backup pick here, if he is gone, which I do not think he'll be gone, will be Reuben Foster, the linebacker out of Alabama. Everybody's thrown this guy to the Bengals, and I think that is a great idea. I don't know if he could step in right away, but he has plenty of time to develop behind great guys like Vinny Ray, Kevin Minter, Vontez Burfict. They're guys that can teach him how to play the game. I assume Nick Vigil would even start over him at first, but he could turn into a beast. Second round, I have the Bengals selecting Tim Williams, technically a linebacker out of Alabama. He's a linebacker / edge rusher. So he kind of fills 2 needs the Bengals have. They can stick him where they want, even though I think his mold fits more of an NFL linebacker. Personally, he's very athletic, and as most of the Alabama defenders, he makes plays. If you watch a lot of his tape, you just see him making plays, and that's what I like so much about him. That Nick Saban defense. I'm a diehard Buckeye fan, but it's really hard to beat the Nick Saban defense. My backup pick for Tim Williams, this guy could fall to the 3rd, but I'm gonna put him here, is Terrell Basham, a defensive end out of Ohio University, and this is the guy I've seen play in person the most. I've probably seen him play in person maybe 3 or 4 times, and he looks like an NFL guy to me. Maybe even trade down in the second to grab him if you think that's the guy you'd want, and you could get more picks. But I believe that I'm biased because I go to a lot of Ohio football games, but I think Terrell Basham is a very decent player. Number 3 pick is Pat Elflein, the center for Ohio State. With the Bengals, I don't see him starting right away. He could start definitely at right guard, replacing Kevin Zeitler. I think that would be a great fit for him because I always preferred him at Ohio State more at guard than center, because he still, even through the end of the years, had a couple snapping issues. But Bengals have young guys that were coming up at guard. Christian Westerman from Arizona State. Trey Hopkins is there, who he might even play tackle. And those guys could even switch out to tackle if Abwehi and Jake Fisher are having a lot of trouble. We just need to build O-line depth and be able to exchange guys whenever someone's having trouble. Because if you're not going to have guys that you can definitely have faith in, at least build depth, and maybe a starter will emerge. My backup for him is another Ohio State player, Raekwon McMillan, and you might be able to exchange him and Terrell Basham as backup players, because I see a lot of people mocking him to the second round, even some for him to the first. He'd be a good backup middle linebacker. He'd be a depth player, and he'd be behind Minter, of course, who we just signed. And I feel like he'd fit a similar role to Reuben Foster, even though Reuben Foster, I think, is a much more complete and big playmaker, which I personally like more. But as an Ohio State fan, I've seen Raekwon play a bunch of games. I personally don't see him going to the Bengals, which is why I put Pat Elflein there in my mock. But Raekwon is also a fit that could help. Next, this next pick was the first 4th rounder the Bengals have, and this is a pick that I feel like he could be taken mid first round or late first round, but a lot of people said that about Andrew Billings last year, and he fell because no one took him, and the Bengals scooped him up in the 4th round. I think that could happen with Tyus Bowser, a end/linebacker out of the University of Houston. There, Tom Herman coached a great defense, and I think Tyus Bowser is looking like a great player. Maybe not a starter right away, but in the Bengals defense, a lot of the guys aren't starters right away, and he could learn behind guys like Wallace Gilberry and Michael Johnson, and he could develop into a maybe not a starting caliber, but he could at least get in the mix in the Bengals defensive ends. But definitely just there for depth. A backup pick for him, I have Taylor Matone, or Maton. I don't know exactly how to pronounce his name, but he's a tackle out of Western Michigan. He's looked really solid. I feel like he can play tackle, but I see him more fitting in at guard in the next level, and he played a lot of guard at Western Michigan as well. And he had some very solid games there at Western. And of course, as an OU fan, I really don't care for Western Michigan and the whole row the boat thing. It's really obnoxious. But you can't deny that Davis, Zach Terrell, and Matone, a lot of these guys are very decent players. And O-line depth's always great. Next pick, I have the Bengals selecting Adam Bisnowaty, a tackle out of Pitt. And I feel like this guy's probably even better than Taylor Matone, which is why I put him here. I feel like he also has a potential to fall more. From a lot of the draft a lot of the people I see say they prefer Matone over Bisnowaty, and I don't see it personally. I think he could definitely get in the mix. I see him probably like right tackle more, and that's probably where Jake Fisher's going to be playing this year. and I feel like he gets drafted and he has a good preseason, he could come in and steal that job right away from Jake Fisher, who has not been impressive so far. The backup pick for him is Chad Wheeler, a tackle out of USC. I'm really emphasizing the O-line here because that's why the Bengals sucked so much last year. Their defense was terrible at the beginning. I feel like they kind of got that figured out. I feel like the defense cannot possibly get any worse. I had to pause real quick. Someone came into my room. Where was I? Chad Wheeler. There's O-line depth because the defense is as good as it was before last year. I don't think any players are really going to regress. We're getting back William Jackson and Andrew Billings, who I expect to be good players. And we are also getting a new linebacker, Kevin Minter, who's an improvement over Ray Maluga. Guys like Nick Vigil, Clayton Fitzgerald, more. I guess the ends really aren't getting more experience, but the odds are, I've heard from some Bengals insiders who I trust, they're probably going to go 2 ends in the first 4 rounds, which is what I have been going, because I have been going with the Williams and Bowser. So the defense is not going to be the problem. The problem is keeping Dalton upright. And I feel like you really need to build the O-line, because building in the trenches is the best way to win in the NFL. We're building that D-line. It's getting there. Carlos Dunlap and Atkins are great. We're getting Billings back and ends in the draft, for sure. And then we're getting Corey Davis, a guy that might force some linebackers and safeties to move back. I feel like even like an O.J. Howard fitting in, playing. I'm ranting here. We'll get back to it. I like O.J. Depending how we use him. Ken Zampese ran a fairly vanilla offense for Cincinnati last year compared to the complicated Hugh Jackson offense. But I feel like if we got Eifert and Howard both involved, that would be tough for the defense to rush us. Relieve the O-line a little bit, make them more comfortable, make Dalton more comfortable. Hill and Bernard could run more, and a guy we're picking later in the draft. So, O-line and offensive weapons really are going to be the thing that fixes this team, in my opinion, because the defense really solid at the end of the year. This is just off the top of my head. I don't have the games up because I have my mock-up, but I think we held the Ravens to like 10 points. We held the Eagles to barely anything at the end of the year. The Browns were the Browns, but we didn't let them give up that much to them. Texans hardly got anything from us, even though we lost. It was our offense why we lost the games we did. I know it's the NFL, and there's not that much scoring, but besides the Patriots, I believe, were the only team we gave up 30 plus to this whole year. And the 30 we gave up to them was in garbage time. So, the offense is what needs improving. So after that little rant, that's the first 4 rounds with our first round Corey Davis, second round Tim Williams, third Pat Elflein, fourth our actual 4th round pick Tyus Bowser, and 4th compensation pick Adam Bisnowadi out of Pitt. Computer needs restarted. Restart later, please. Okay. I hate Pittsburgh. I hate the Steelers. I hate the Penguins. I hate Penn State, who's not technically in Pittsburgh. But you wouldn't guess that from how much I'm liking the Pittsburgh players. I love Tyler Boyd. I like Adam Bisnowadi in this draft, and also with the next pick. I like the running back here in the 5th round if he's here. I'm having a lot of players fall. This is just like an ideal draft for me. I have James Conner out of Pitt, and odds are Conner is so good he could end up going in like 2nd or 3rd round. But I really like Conner. I feel like he could come in and maybe I feel like Jeremy Hill's going to come back this year with a chip on his shoulder, but we could trade him because he has a contract year coming up, and the Bengals don't re-sign players. They want their comp picks. So Conner could be groomed this year, and he's a 5th round pick, so you don't even really expect him to play much. You can bring Conner in, groom him as Hill's replacement. As Hill leaves, we get a comp pick for him, and we have Conner and Bernard as the two backs. I love his game. I would check out. He's a great story. Overcoming cancer, and he also is great friends with Tyler Boyd, and he'd be good friends with Adam Bisnowati. So there wouldn't be a chemistry problem there. I think the players would welcome him like they welcome Devin Still, because the Bengals is a very family atmosphere. Like guys like James Conner are the guys I want Bengals taking, not guys like I said I'd be fine with Reuben Foster, but guys with character problems like Reuben Foster and who's his face? Joe Mixon, a guy that's associated with the Bengals a lot. If the Bengals get Joe Mixon, that'd be great. I feel like there's so many guys in the 1st and 2nd round that are better than Mixon that it'd just be pointless to go with him. Next is our 5th round comp pick. I just got a text that my Braves lost. What a shame. I have the Bengals going Vince Beagle, a linebacker out of Wisconsin. I have loved this guy the entire time, and I'm really glad people have him falling. He's been a great player out of Wisconsin. He's given Ohio State hell. He's given a lot of teams hell. I think he'd just be a great fit for the Bengals. I have less to say about these guys later on. So we're gonna be wrapping it up here. We have so these would be our 5th rounder and 6th rounders. 6th round I have either Noah Brown from Ohio State. Oh, I forgot my backup for Vince Beagle would be Anthony Walker, a similar linebacker out of Northwestern. If he's there, odds are he'll be gone in the 3rd or 4th round. 6th round, I have Noah Brown from Ohio State. Odds are he won't make it through the 4th round, but I have him here just being optimistic. A more realistic guy would be Katie Cannon out of Baylor. Really, really fast guy. I think would fit in the Bengals well. Has a catching problem, doesn't run many routes at Baylor, but is fast and dynamic. 6th compensation pick. I don't know if he'll be there. Zane Gonzalez, the kicker from Arizona State. Great kicker. Everyone says he's the best kicker in this draft. He's there at 6. Take him. If he's gone, this is kind of a stretch. I like Cameron Johnston, a punter out of Ohio State. Kevin Huber's not great. I feel like Cam Johnston would come into the NFL and be a great punter. In 7th round, I have a guy Corn Elder out of Miami. There's no way he's going to make it to the 7th. I just have him here in case he falls. I have a guy out of Wisconsin I kind of like a little bit for special teams. Sojourn Shelton is also a corner. And finally, in this our last pick, I have them either taking Chad Kelly, a quarterback from Ole Miss who has had some problems, but again, the Bengals are pretty good with addressing those problems, or Antonio Pipkin, a quarterback from Tiffin. It's like a D2 school. Everyone's liked him. I think he's alright. I don't think he's really an NFL guy, but if he's there in 7th, take him and maybe trade McCarron. So that's all for my mock draft, and I'll catch you guys later with a maybe like Wednesday right before the draft. I'll hit you guys with a full 1st round mock draft, not a Bengals one, but just a full 1st round mock draft for for all the teams that I've been working on. So I'll see you guys then for the draft. I'm really excited for it. And I'll see you guys next time. Thanks for watching.